All right, let's get right into it. The world of AI design tools it's exploding, right? But let's be real, most of it is just hype. So how do you find the tools that are actually going to save you time and make your work better? Well, in this explainer, we're cutting through all that noise to give you a toolkit that's been tested and proven for professional workflows in 2026.
And that's really the heart of the problem, isn't it? There are new AI tools popping up every single day, but so many of them are just these flashy demos that completely fall apart the second you try to use them in a real project. The list we're going to go through today, it's different. These are tools that have been battle-tested in a real-deal software design environment. So here's the bottom line. We're looking at a hand-picked set of tools that bring real, measurable value to the entire design-to-code pipeline. I mean, from that first, messy idea scribbled on a napkin, all the way to the final, polished, animated product.
So let's start at the very beginning, phase 1, structuring your ideas. This is the part where so many projects get off on the wrong foot. They start with a brilliant concept, but there's no clear plan to actually make it happen. This is the age-old question, right? You've got that spark, that amazing idea in your head, but there's this massive canyon between that initial concept and something a developer can actually take and build. So how do you bridge that gap without wasting weeks?
Well, the answer is a fantastic open source tool called Design OS, and it is built to solve this exact problem.
The best way to think about it is like having a product manager in a box. Seriously. It's a system that walks you through everything, taking you from that fuzzy concept to a set of specs that are ready for code. And what's really cool is that it's open source, and it works with any coding assistant you're already using, whether it's Claude, Copilot, you name it.
So, how's it work? It's actually pretty brilliant. Design OS basically runs you through an automated stakeholder interview. It asks all those critical questions a really good PM would ask. Who are the users? What are the absolute must-have requirements? How's the data structured? It forces you to think through all the important stuff up front. And after you go through that little interview, what it spits out is incredibly valuable. We're not talking about just a page of notes. You get actual TypeScript types for your data, CSS tokens for your design system, and a complete product requirements document. It's a full-on blueprint for your project.
And here's the kicker. This is the magic. When you take this super structured plan and feed it to an AI coding assistant, the quality of the code it generates just skyrockets. Why? Because these large language models absolutely thrive on context and clear instructions. The AI isn't guessing anymore. It's building from a detailed, coherent plan that you've already thought through.
Okay, so we've got our plan locked in. Now let's move on to phase 2, creating the actual assets. This is the fun part, where we start to bring the project to life visually, turning those abstract ideas into something you can actually see. So here's the problem I'm sure you've run into. You need a really specific, high-quality image for your website's hero section, maybe a custom product shot. But you're not a 3D artist, and scrolling through endless stock photo sites just isn't cutting it.
The tool you need here is called Vizcom, and specifically its sketch-to-render feature is, well, it's pretty much sorcery. And I'm not kidding about the sorcery part. You can literally draw the ugliest, sloppiest stick figure of a product, add a simple text prompt describing what it should look like, and Vizcom will transform it into a stunning, photorealistic 4K render. It is absolutely mind-blowing.
So you've nailed that hero image. Awesome. But what about the rest of the visual identity? How do you build out a complete, cohesive mood board where everything just feels right together without spending days just hunting for images?
For this, there's a little hidden gem from Google Labs called Mixboard. Mixboard is like a mood board on steroids. You can just drop in an image you like, and it'll generate tons of variations that perfectly match that style. You can even sketch right on top of images to add or change things. And the best part? Since it's still an experimental tool from Google, it is completely free to use right now. All right, on to phase 3, refining and animating. We've got our structure, we've got our assets. Now it's time to add that layer of professional polish that really separates the good designs from the great ones. One of the best ways to improve is to learn from the best in the business. But how do you quickly break down and understand the design systems of amazing websites like Stripe or Linear without spending weeks just measuring pixels and guessing font sizes? There is an incredible pro workflow for this. First, you use a simple tool like Go Full Page to grab a perfect screenshot of a site you love. Then, you feed that image to an AI like Claude and just ask it to analyze the UI patterns. the spacing, the fonts, the colors, and then the magic step. You use a Figma plugin called html.to.design. This thing will convert the live website into a fully editable Figma file. It's amazing. And for that final bit of polish, let's talk about motion. For AI-powered animation right inside Figma, Magic Animator is just incredible. It looks at your layers and automatically creates these complex, beautiful movements for you. And for a free but super powerful alternative, Lottie Files is the way to go. It turns your prototypes into these tiny JSON files that developers can drop right into the code, making your site feel super premium. Okay, finally, let's look at what's next, which honestly is already here. This is the true game changer, connecting AI agents directly into our design tools. We are talking about AI native design, using Figma with something called MCP, which stands for Model Context Protocol. Basically, it lets AI assistants see, understand, and directly edit your design files. This just unlocks a completely new way of working. Instead of just generating ideas, you can open your AI assistant and just type a prompt, something like, generate a minimal login page, and then you watch as the AI builds the actual vectors, the text layers, and the auto layout frames right there inside your Figma file. You are literally designing with words. It's wild. So to wrap this all up, here it is, your 2026 AI Design Toolkit. You've got Design OS for planning and structure, Vizcom for those pro-level visuals, Google Mixboard for exploring styles, html.to.design for learning from the best, Magic Animator for motion, and finally Figma with MCP for a taste of true AI native design. Every single tool solves a specific, crucial part of the process. Look, these tools represent a huge shift in how we're going to design and build things. So the final question really isn't about the technology anymore. It's about us. The toolkit is here. It's ready. The question is your workflow ready to adapt?